What is up, guys? Dr. Sophia here, and I'm back with another video. If you are new, go ahead and subscribe. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can stay updated on all of my content. And also do not forget to check the description box because I always put a lot of stuff in there, specifically my books and my products, specifically my book for single women, which you may want to get, and also my book for single moms, which you may also want to get. So what we're going to be talking about is, ladies, why you need to have your own and why having your own actually gets you better options when it comes to a man. So what I want to do is get into this video that I saw on Instagram first before I get into my points.
But women over the age of 26 are already traveling around the world by themselves, taking each other to 5-star dinners, buying each other expensive chains and jewelry for each other's birthday for friends, starting their own business, got their own crib, got their own car, and got their credit together. What are they going to do with a man that wants to take them to dinner, have free conversation, and wants to go half on the bills?
Okay. So honestly speaking, y'all, I have found this to be very true. And I'm actually going to get into the story of my grandmother and tell you what my grandmother always told me. My grandmother has been married to my grandfather for almost 60 years. And I remember when she was first a stay-at-home mom, my grandfather was in the military and he retired from the military. He was in it for over 20 years. And I remember at first when she did not have a job, she told me that she felt that my grandfather's a very good man, but I'm telling you the psychology of men sometimes. She said that my grandfather was basically controlling the money, telling her what she can and couldn't do. And while he basically went out and bought everything that he wanted to buy. So what my grandmother taught me from then on is that as soon as she got a job, and I remember my grandmother called up to base every day because she worked in the child care center at first in order to get a job. And even though they said she didn't have no experience, she was like, I have 3 kids. I got 3 daughters. I know how to raise somebody. And so she got the job and she worked on base until she retired. What is my point in telling you this? Because as soon as my grandmother got money and my grandfather saw that she had options and knew that if he did not start acting right, then guess what? My grandmother could actively leave and she had the means to do so. So understand that what having your own gets you is the ability to be less desperate, right? And that's my first point, because I noticed that there is a lot of bad internet dating advice going around in the world of the internet. And basically this leads women to believe that somehow, some way, that all they have to do is show up, look pretty, their life could be in shambles. They don't have to know anything. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to have anything. But basically that a man of your dreams is going to come and he's going to drop everything in your lap and you don't have anything to show for yourself. And realistically speaking, that's not true. Not only is it not true, it's not what you want. The reason why you don't want it is because not only does it put you in a desperate position in which the man has all the control and he can do whatever it is that he wants, but it also gives you less power. So I remember when I was actually reading the story about Chris Rock. He is a comedian. He used to be married. And once he got a divorce from his wife, guess what? That's exactly what he said. And I'm going to put the clip up here. Basically, he said the reason why he cheated on his wife and he did all of the nonsense, right, is because he had all of the money and he knew that he had all of the control. So when men feel like they have all of the money and they have all of the control, then guess what? That puts them in a position for them to do whatever it is that they want, and for you to sit there and have to take it because you don't have any resources or any means to do or go anywhere else, even if he is acting stupid. So understand, because a lot of women become resentful. Oh, I don't want to work. I don't want to have my own. I don't want to have. If that's the case, then that's fine. But what I highly suggest you do is that you start, when you're single, you should be providing for yourself in some way, shape, or form. Okay. So that's that. But if your intention is after I get married that I don't want to work, fine. You better start investing in some stocks and some bonds now. I do believe I can leave my link down below of Stash. That's the stock thing that I use. And also you can stash money there for retirement and also for savings. It's very easy. I will leave the link down below. You better do something to make sure that you have some sort of finances or cushion on your own so that when you find yourself in a relationship, you don't find yourself at the mercy of him because he has everything and he has nothing, right? Because also I did a video on a homosexual And I was talking about it in regards to men, and I will leave the link down in the description box, but women can be homosexuals too. I have seen women who want to get with men specifically because they don't have nothing going on for themselves. So basically, they want to get with the man so that they'll have some place to live. They want to get with the man so that they'll have somebody to take them out on dates so that they can get food, so that they can go places. And even if they don't like the man, they are at the mercy of the man, sitting around sleeping with the man that they don't even like, just so they can have some food and a place to live and go out on dates. That is never a position that you want to put yourself in, where you're basically whoring out yourself for things that you can't get on your own with men or people that you don't necessarily want to whore yourself out to because you don't have any options. That is not what you want. Understand that, like I said, when you have your own, it makes you less desperate. The second point is that when you have your own, you get yourself used and accustomed to how you should be treated. If you notice in the video, and this is something that I honestly promote, and this is something that I honestly try to do myself, which is why, I'll post vlogs here and there of like vacations and stuff that I went on, because honestly speaking, what women need to understand, a lot of women wait for men to come into their lives in order to give them something. But if you are already accustomed to giving yourself stuff, and you are already accustomed to giving yourself the best, then guess what you're going to accept from a man who comes into your life? You're going to accept the best because you're already used to giving yourself the best. So why would you demote yourself down to not having the best simply because he's in your life? So basically what you're going to understand, and I honestly had a situation like that recently with a man that I was dating. It was a situation, and it wasn't even like he didn't have any money or anything like that, but it was a situation where we were talking long distance, and I'm like, okay, we've been talking for a while. We've been video chatting for a while. We need to like meet up. And he was acting real funky and crazy about it. And the only thing that I did was walk away, because guess what? I think that there are oftentimes men who qualify themselves as a good man, which he was a good man on paper. He has a good, career. He has good things going for himself. And because of that, some men tend to think, oh, I don't have to put forth I have to put forth minimal effort with this woman because I know that I'm a good man and I know that I have. But see, if you are a woman who also has, then you don't necessarily feel like you have to tolerate that, because what did I just say? If you don't want it to, as soon as he was like, I don't want to go nowhere, I don't want to go on vacation, I scheduled a vacation with one of my female friends and I went about my day. Like, that's how that works. You don't stop your life because of what a man will and won't do for you. You have the means in order to do it for yourself. And what that does is lead you to a more enriching life, instead of just waiting always for a man to come and deliver you and to do for you because you can't do for yourself. So I actually want to get into the third advice, and I want to get into the story of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. And I'm just going to paraphrase, because as I was thinking about this whole video, God brought this story to me, and I was like, oh, you know what, God, you are probably right. So rock with me for a second. If you know Solomon, and I'll put the Bible verse up here, he had a whole bunch of wives, he had a whole bunch of concubines, he had a whole bunch of females, he had a whole bunch of people in there that he was messing with, that he was sleeping with, and he had women on rotation, right? And I have a video that I did about Solomon where I believe that he suffered from some lust stuff and how you can tell. I'm going to put that down below. And the Queen of Sheba, I'm also going to put this Bible verse up so that you guys can read it, was a person who was a queen in her own right. Let me start there. She had her own money. She had her own stuff. And she basically heard about Solomon's wisdom. And so she was like, okay, cool. Let me go see this Solomon cat, right? So when she went to go see Solomon, I'm not sure what happened, but we're going to rock with me for a second here, because we're going to fill in the blanks. The Queen of Sheba probably rode up there. She probably saw all these women, all of these chicks, all of these kids that he had. She talked to him and she was like, oh, wow, you're very wise, but you got too many women. Let me go back to my queendom, my kingdom that I have on my own, where I don't have to share it with you and all these people and all these women and all these concubines and all these wives that you got. I can literally go back home to my palace and my kingdom that I have for myself, and probably find another king who is willing to just submit to me. Now, the Bible don't say the last part, but I'm just putting it in there, that it was very easy for the Queen of Sheba to come and see Solomon in all of his polygamous glory and probably go back and say, wow, this is not for me. You're a nice person and all, but this is not something I want to get involved in. But what is my point? That at the end of the day, even if it did not work out with King Solomon, Sheba was still a queen, and she had so much wealth that she had brought in the most amount of wealth that Israel had ever seen and will ever see when she went to go visit Solomon. I'm not telling y'all to give men money. That's not the point of this. But I'm saying she had her own. And therefore, it makes a difference that when somebody is not acting right, or somebody cannot give you what you want, or you see a whole bunch of women in the mix, or you see a relationship that you do not want to be in, that it makes it a lot easier to leave that situation and go about your day and still have a certain caliber of life, which is traveling, which is going somewhere, which is being happy, which is having friends, which is your life still being the same without feeling like you have to have a man offering it to you. Now, do people want to be in a relationship? Sure. Do you want a man? Sure. But what did I say? Just like the story of my grandmother. What you don't want to do is be trapped and stuck by a man's money, his situation, or the fact that he provides or gives you life to every single thing, that you don't have anything for yourself, and therefore you settle into whatever a man is handling out. And sometimes that may not be good for you, but you have to sit there and take it because you can't leave, because you feel like, oh, I don't have as much as him, or I don't have enough on my own. If you know for a fact that you do have your own, then you are apt to tolerate less in a relationship. Just like he said, if you're saying I can do great all by myself, why would I do good, worse, or bad with you, which is the man, when I'm already doing great by myself? What I am looking for is a man that can make us do excellent together if I'm already doing great by myself. So you see how the standards raise, you become less desperate, you become more independent, and having these things are not bad. It actually helps you in the long run, and it actually helps you have more viable options for a relationship. All right, guys. All right. So don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to check the description box. And I will talk to you guys another day, another time. Bye, y'all. Not ready for the show to end? It doesn't have to. You can head over to my site where you can read hundreds of articles. And also you can feel free to shop my store where I have all of my products for sale. And last but not least, for even more video content, feel free to visit my YouTube channel where I talk about a wide array of content. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next time, stay blessed.